You're in a caloric deficit, but you're not losing weight. Let's talk all about reverse dieting today. So in this YouTube video, we're gonna break down why you are in a caloric deficit. You've been in it for such a long time, but you're still struggling to lose weight. So before we get into reverse dieting, I wanna first touch base on what is a caloric deficit. Now, you may know this already, but for the people that don't, a caloric deficit is where you are burning more calories than you consume, or you're eating less than your maintenance. And that is the only way that our body can lose fat, and that's the only way our body can lose weight. First, I'm gonna preface before getting into reverse dieting, because I know a lot of people think, okay, that's the first thing I gotta do. Like, my metabolism's slow and I'm not losing weight, so I gotta immediately switch gears and do a reverse diet. And a lot of times, these individuals don't have to. These individuals are just not actually in a caloric deficit. Maybe they are in the weekdays, but the weekends they're spilling over, which means they're eating too much. And average out, they're actually not putting themselves in a caloric deficit. So make sure you're actually precise first. And what we do with our clients is we won't just take their word for it. We're going to have to make sure they actually are in a caloric deficit. So that's the first thing I want to say. Working with so many women though, and especially women that are really career driven, really busy with their career, I realize that a lot of women are actually in what I call an unintentional diet. So what is an unintentional diet? Unintentional diet is where you are barely eating and you're doing so because you're just so busy with your career. You're so busy with work. Let me know if this sounds familiar. You're probably working maybe 8, 10 plus hours in a week, 5, 6 days in a week. And you're the type, you barely have time for breakfast. You're driving to work and you're eating in the car, or you're so busy with work that you can barely have time. When you do have your breaks, maybe you actually spend your breaks catching up on a current project at work and you totally miss your lunch. Before you know it, you probably didn't even eat until like 4 or 5 p.m. And if you are, you're probably snacking on something and it's probably not going to have any protein in it. It's just going to be poor macros, and that's what we call an unintentional diet. And a lot of women that I first meet that want my help, they're actually putting themselves in an unintentional diet. Moving forward to the reverse diet, okay? So we just had to go over a couple things first. Number one is, are you actually in a caloric deficit? First scenario, a lot of people may think they are, but they're actually not. So I just had to preface and say that first. The other scenario is a lot of people are actually in a caloric deficit, but they're actually doing it unintentionally. Pretty interesting, right? So if you do find yourself in a scenario where you are in a caloric deficit, whether it be intentional, you've been consciously dieting, you've been tracking your calories meticulously, you can confirm that through data, or you've been unintentionally dieting down, like what I just mentioned with a lot of people that I first meet, then we will have to do a reverse diet if over a long period of time, you're not losing weight. Now, let's talk about why this is happening and why you're not losing weight. Because I know this is the main reason why you're here. You're wondering, like, what the heck is going on? I'm in a caloric deficit. I understand about that, Adrian. I've been doing it for so long. I'm maybe in an intentional caloric deficit, or maybe I'm in an unintentional caloric deficit, but like, what's actually going on? Okay, so what's going on and why you're in this plateau is because of what we call metabolic adaptation. It's a fancy way of saying that your metabolism has slowed down. Understand that every subsequent diet you do, it's going to get progressively harder. So when you eat less food, your body's metabolism or maintenance is going to start going lower and lower and lower. So imagine if I were to help Nicole, for example, her maintenance before she ever dieted was 1,800 calories. Over years of subsequent diets, like that maintenance, if she never really focuses on reversing her calories or building it back up or building strength and muscle, let's just say she lost muscle over the years is worse, her maintenance will drop from 1,800 to 1,500. That means if she was before eating at 1,500 calories to lose a little bit of weight each month, now that 1,500 is her new maintenance and she's not going to lose weight. Does that make sense? That's essentially what metabolic adaptation means. And a lot of people without their knowledge are actually in this scenario. They believe, okay, if I'm not losing weight, I got to push a little harder. So what they do is they kind of panic and they start dieting more aggressively in a short period of time. And that may give them the results short term. They may lose out a little bit more weight, but here's the catch 22 to this. You don't want to lose weight super quick, because what happens is the faster you lose weight, the more adaptation happens. So these individuals panic, they start to lose weight really quick, and that maintenance drops even quicker, especially if they're the individual that's dieting, I would say, aggressively without much regard with preserving muscle. And if they start losing muscle, it's just going to go down a lot faster as well. Okay, so if this is making sense so far, give it a like, drop a comment in the comment section as well. Now, let's get into the solution, which is reverse dieting. So solution is going to be reverse dieting. Now, I'm going to go over this briefly. I'm not going to go in very deep detail about it because it's going to take a little bit of time. That's going to be for a separate YouTube video. But essentially what we want to do is we want to climb up the calories slowly but surely. And we're bumping it up anywhere from 50 to 100 calories every week or two. Now, it's not set in stone that, this is the template and I'm going to pass it to everyone. It's really going to be dependent on the clients' progress, how they're feeling, how much they can intake, how they're reacting and adapting to that reverse diet. So all of these are very important data that I need as I'm coaching a client, which is why when I'm coaching a client, it's very hands-on, it's very intimate. I got to communicate with them week by week. Now I'm going to put up a couple examples here. So first is Michelle. When I first met Michelle was eating 1,000 calories. I'm looking at her right now. She was eating 1,000 calories. She's a wedding planner, so she was super busy. She was traveling. She was always on the road. She never really had time to eat as well. So it was just poor eating frequency. It was very sporadic. It was really random. And when she did eat, it was not the best choices as well, right? And you could see here, like she was bloated. Gut health was not good. A lot of inflammation, just holding on to excess body fat. And she was struggling to lose it because she was already doing an unintentional diet. She reverse dieted. The process took about 6 months, 7 months. First half, reverse dieted. Last bit, she focused on fat loss and she's down about 20 pounds. Another example is going to be Janice. You can see over here, carrying excess body fat, right? Definitely some bloating, inflammation, right? From the food she's eating as well. And for her, she was really busy with work. And with her, she had the belief that I had to eat less. I can't eat that much. And she was almost kind of like worried to eat more food because she thought if I eat more food, I'm going to be gaining weight. And you know what? The scary part was she actually was, because her metabolism was that adapted. If your metabolism has that adapted, if you eat somewhat more food, you will notice that it's easier to gain fat. And that's the scary part of it. So if you find yourself in this scenario, this is where you really need help. You can't lose weight. You're barely eating. And when you eat somewhat more, you actually do gain weight pretty easily. It's because it's not hard to eat more than your maintenance. Your maintenance is so low. Anything over that is immediately putting you in a surplus. With Janice, we took her on and we built up her calories. We built up her metabolism. And for her, she adapted really well to the reverse diet. Within just barely, I'm just looking at her stats and everything right now, just within less than 8 weeks, she was already able to increase her calories by more than 50%. She's down over 10 pounds. I believe over here it says 12 pounds. And she's just started her cutting phase and she's going to definitely lose weight a lot more easily right now. Okay, so overall, these are 2 examples of people that have successfully reverse dieted. So the question is back on you. Are you finding yourself barely eating but not losing weight? Are you confirming that you are in an intentional diet for a long period of time through data, through track calories? Or are you that individual that's so busy with work, you don't even remember how much you've been eating? Like if you do eat, you're barely eating, you're snacking. You can't even remember when you had a proper meal, right? If that's you, you're probably in an unintentional diet. Now, for both scenarios, there is a solution for you, but it's not what you're currently doing right now. So once again, it's not what you're currently doing right now, because if you knew the solution, you would already be seeing the progress you want to be seeing, right? Now, if you want help, I want you to send me a message on Instagram and you can say toned and just tell me you watched my video from YouTube, and that way I would know that you need this type of help. Besides from that, if you got value in any way today, don't forget to hit that notifications bell and hit that subscribe button for more upcoming nutrition videos.